Sometimes in life you experience a moment, an event, a day that ricochets your entire life into a completely different direction. What you're about to see is one of mine.
Good effort.
My name's Danny Lee, and like thousands of my own viewers, racing is just something that's baked into my soul. Same way that football are for millions and millions of people around the world. For nearly 20 years now, sim racing has been the way that I kind of live that dream by proxy. It ain't real, but it does a really good job of scratching that itch, and I love it. If you spend long enough on the internet and you've got a dream of going racing for real, you may spot scholarship competitions. I saw one back in 2019, late end of 2019, a scholarship competition run by Team Hard. Never heard of them before. Scholarship competitions usually are a bit like crowd-funded Hunger Games for motorsports. So everybody pays to enter. It's not a small amount, normally it's hundreds of quid. So in this particular case it was 500 quid to enter. So everybody that entered that scholarship would have paid 500 quid a piece, and the 40 or 50 people that entered would all compete for the right to the prize of a season's racing, essentially for that sum of money. So if you win the scholarship competition, you've won a season's racing for 500 quid, which in racing terms is pennies, super cheap. So that's the appeal. So if you are someone with a big dream but a small budget, if you do well enough, you can be a racing driver. Now this wasn't actually my first rodeo here. I'd entered a scholarship competition back in 2012 for MX-5 racing. I was really familiar with MX-5s at the time, so got really close. Got to the final 10, which was way better than I expected. I really thought I was in with a chance here. Unfortunately, didn't win in the end. But I thought, okay, 8 years have passed. I'm a more mature person now. I'm more seasoned. I'm a little bit rusty and out of practice with the sim racing stuff, and it's been ages since I've been on a track day or anything like that. But okay, it's 3 months until the competition. Let's enter it and let's just go for it. So in the 3 months between signing up for the competition, paying me 500 quid or thereabouts, I practiced on the sim as much as possible. I hit the gym as best I could to make sure I was okay for the fitness tests, to make sure there was no doubt that I would pass, and practiced tons and tons of interview questions over and over so that it would roll off the tongue, because that's not exactly my strength. Most of my videos are scripted. This is quite offhand, and I'm sure there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of chops in the edit as a result of that. But yeah, speaking off the tongue is not exactly a strength of mine. So it was an intensive 3 months to make sure that I was on form, as well practiced as I could possibly be with the means that I had, as fit as I could be, and as sort of easily spoken as I could possibly be as well. The day of the scholarship arrived, I'd driven up to Blighton Park, stayed overnight so that I was well rested, so that I would give myself the best possible chance of being the best version of myself, and I was really into it. This was going to be a great day. I was going to give it my best shot, and whatever happens, I'd just be proud of putting my best stuff on the table and going, there you are, judge me. The only thing I hadn't prepared for was slick tyres on a cold January day.
Good effort.
Yeah, you're right, it's tail happy, isn't it?
It is. Especially when the tyres are a bit cold.
Yeah.
So,
10 seconds ago everything was fine. Now I'm sitting here in a car I just 360'd like I'm in a taxi waiting for my change.
Clutch back in. Let's do it off. On. Turn your key back towards you.
Yeah.
Back forwards again.
Got it.
Cool. There we go.
Sorted.
So clutch in into first,
Okay.
round to the left, and away you go.
Okay.
Looks clear.
Looks clear.
Good.
So when I got in the car, considering this was a full race spec car that was worth quite a bit of money, and there's no insurance with these things. If you stack it, you're on the hook for a lot of money. Lap 1 is all about just getting used to the car, getting used to the controls. The brake pedal was rock hard. Spent lap 1 getting familiar with just how the car kind of was. Consider also that to date, this is the most powerful car that I've ever driven. Even though it's front wheel drive, doesn't matter. They're still pretty intense. They've still got a lot of power behind them, and you still need to treat them with respect. So I'm not just gonna go in. I'm not just gonna plonk myself in a driver's seat and just go, I know everything. I'm just gonna rock it away. And all of a sudden, the car just breaks away. It completely takes me by surprise. The back end flips around. It makes me laugh when I watch this clip back because it's kind of awkward. The instructor, Max Coates, as soon as the car comes to a stop after a spin like that, he just goes, good effort, as if to say, yeah, nice job, mate. Now, he was a lovely guy on the day, so, but what can you say? You've just been in the car, literally less than 5 minutes after the day starts, and it's already kind of in the bin. I've spun the car. Not many people are going to go on to win a scholarship competition after spinning the car on the blooming test drive. So just imagine that. 3 months of solid preparation to give it my very best shot, and on my second lap, it's all in the bin. I've kind of made a mess of it, but I am the sort to just keep going and salvage every shred of what remains, because a mistake doesn't always automatically mean failure, but if you give up, then it definitely does. I just spent the rest of the day hitting my marks as best as possible, gave it everything in the fitness test, gave it everything in the interviews, made my best efforts to kind of get to know people on the team and such sort, and just kind of make myself a little bit memorable. But sadly, ultimately, and justifiably, it wasn't enough to be called back to the final day. So I reflect on who I was at the time, 4 years ago, and I see it very clearly. At the time, there would be no reason to choose me, and I was never going to win. I was nowhere near ready, and it would have been an injustice to everyone else that had entered, that had committed more fully to this thing and had more of a right to that prize than me. But at the time, you don't feel that way. You feel that you're giving it your best shot and that you can overcome everyone else by doing that. That's natural. You wouldn't enter a competition if you didn't think there was a reasonable chance that you would win, if you just gave it your best shot and nailed everything perfectly. And obviously I didn't at the time. At the time, I believed in myself. I just wanted to give it my best shot and really believe. That day was just over 4 years ago. And I started this YouTube channel pretty much 4 years ago. I dabbled before, took the odd pot shot, put the odd video up, but the self-reflection and disappointment of that scholarship competition rejection was essentially a major catalyst for starting this YouTube channel and creating the very channel you're watching me on right now. Over 300 videos in now, and it all started because I felt compelled to build a name for myself, contribute to this thing, and become unignorable. Because of every one of you that's viewed, watched, subscribed, followed, and supported, you're helping bring those dreams of mine back off the shelf and back into focus again in a way that would have been unimaginable to me 5 years ago. Those dreams somehow don't feel so distant anymore. So thank you for supporting me, and I hope I can be of use to you for years to come. The moment that car came to a rest from that spin, I reckon my life basically forked off into 2 paths. One where I just gave it all up and thought, well, that's that then. And one where I captured the emotion, disappointment, and self-reflection of the events of that day and used it as fuel to become stronger and better, to one day face another challenge like that, but this time with a lot more to bring to the table. Those that choose to pursue their dreams are sticking their head above the line, and if you do that, you're going to take some hard hits. You're going to take some knocks that make you question what you're doing. They're going to make you think it's easy to just give this up and stop chasing this dream and just settle into a nice easy life. But that seems to just be how life works though. It smooths out your rough and sharp edges and makes you a better person over time. The only problem is it tends to do that with a hammer. Generally speaking in life, if you just stay at home, nothing will happen. But if you put yourself out there, something might. I doubt very much that I would have spontaneously decided to create a YouTube channel and put myself out there if it were not for the events of that day. igniting something in me. It was a day where I basically put my dreams to the test and failed. And I find moments like these in life totally fascinating, because you're either going to come out of them on a real high or a real low, but either way, something about you is going to change. When it does, it's up to you to shake off the bad bits and make sure it's for the better. I'm 35. I've experienced a few life-deflecting moments that took me on unforeseen paths, and I'm sure there's plenty ahead of me and all. So there you go, a little piece of my personal history. As I said earlier, I'm beyond appreciative of all the supporters, subscribers. It's thanks to you that I see a long future ahead of me, and I promise to remain useful to you. And thanks for watching.